Madina is one of the greatest cities to visit in the world. In this video, you will see 3 important sites. Although there are many important sites, I have picked out 3 of them. The second mosque that was built by the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, peace be upon him, Al-Masjid Al-Nabu. This site here is one of the greatest sites, a significant site where the Battle of Badr took place, and the mosque here is the Al-Masjid Afrish. The first mosque that was built by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Al-Masjid Quba. The importance of Masjid Al-Quba. They say if you pray 2 rakat in the Al-Masjid Quba, the reward is equivalent to performing 1 Umrah. The importance of the place and the site of the Battle of Badr is the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the archers defied the Prophet Muhammad's orders to remain on top of the mountain. Defying the orders caused heavy casualties on our side, as we were already winning. The Croatians sent from Mecca. This video takes you through the stages of the history built by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions. It's very different from Mecca. You can tell straight away. The weather was different. It wasn't as hot as Mecca, but it wasn't too cold. It was just in between. It's very hard to talk about stuff, especially when you're there, because people are staring at you thinking what they're doing, or they're reporters or something, or journalists or something. So it is a lot easier doing a voice over afterwards when you've got it all pre-recorded, because then you got your own privacy and your space to explain things the way you want to. I just noticed the sign direction for the Prophet's Mosque, so I'm guessing I'm not too far away, because I did ask on my way and a lot of people said just carry on straight and you'll see the mosque. I know they said it's not too far from the hotel. They said it was like 2 blocks away. I can see now ahead of me. Okay, this could be it. I can see some gates. Now this is my first time Madina, and it's my first time I've seen what I can see now, and I was astonished by the appearance. It's something I've never seen before. I've never ever seen a mosque so big and so well constructed, and it's out of the world. I'm completely speechless. I had some doubts about coming here from Mecca because the Masjid al-Haram and the Kaaba, I didn't want to leave. I wanted to remain there, but because we only had a few days here and we're on tight schedule, and we had to come to Madina because the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he had to leave Mecca because the Meccan people disliked him and disapproved of him spreading Islam. And although the Prophet Muhammad was born in Mecca, he had to leave Mecca, and he came to Madina. And this is the second mosque that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, built, the Masjid al-Nabi. So I just can't wait to see the inside. I just simply can't describe. Words are just not big enough to describe what I am witnessing. A mosque so flourish, so shiny, so sparkling, is a magnificent work of art. And I just can't bear what effort I'm putting my hand. I can't. I have to put my hand on this door. I have to sense the population and people coming from all around the world, and joining hands, praying together what our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, built, and his companions, for the future generation, which is us, and their creation, and what they did in 600, almost 1500 years ago or more, for us to witness. And for those who kept the alliance and were able to come and experience what they left behind, can hardly bear to describe in words what they left for us to see and learn. And the education they left behind it is At this moment, I was thinking, yes, it's worth. It's because I'm in shock. Yeah, because my mouth is wide open and my eyes is wide open. I just can't. It's very hard to take. It's very hard to take in the detail that's gone into this mosque. People sat there reading the Quran on the heavy, comfy carpets. Yeah. Zamzam water. Every need for every prayer has been accommodated. Seats are there if anyone has difficulty sitting down or not able to sit down. There's adjustable seats there. Everything is compatible to every prayer's needs. Yeah. I was recording 2 children here, and they were drinking the Zamzam water. If you haven't been or you're planning to go, I can tell you this now, you will not be disappointed. The stairs, I have to know what is up there. There's quite a few stairs, about 5-6 flights of stairs. Okay, just see what's going on here. Okay, you can see a prayer coming. There we go. Okay, so you've got people just, sat there reading the Qurans. So you've got shelter space, so if it rains, and then you got the marble shiny floor. You can bring your own praying mats and just help yourself to a space and just pray. And then you've got So I'm guessing I am quite high because the domes look much smaller up here. Because when you're on the ground, the domes look so high up.
Very hard to soak in how much power is in this place. You understand now what the economy selfie?
Yeah, I know.
They know, yeah.
They don't.
No, they do. So I'm guessing this is quite old then.
Is it? It's quite new.
I mean, like when it was
The mosque is old.
when it was first built, like
Yeah. First built is quite
it wouldn't have been like this when it was first built. It would have been something,
yeah.
whatever it was, and then they built it like they, you know, bit by bit, add extras, you know. I'll have a look in there.
I'm gonna take a walk around now. This is all outside the mosque, outside the Prophet's mosque, and the mosque is huge. To get around the whole mosque, it will take you hours because there's so many gates, and all around the mosque, all these, especially at night, the lights, it looks so colourful. There's hotels all around the mosques, shops, all kinds of shops, clothes shops, souvenir shops, aftershave, deodorant, perfume shops, and they're open late. They're not like the UK, where the UK closes about 8 p.m, 9 p.m. The restaurants close about 12 o'clock. Here they're open late, so the souvenir shops, I noticed they close about 2 in the morning, some of them 3 in the morning. There's confect shops. So if you needed groceries, restaurants, cafes. Now we're lucky enough to have got a McDonald's, which is just behind our hotel on Kingfisher Road. Now this, I had to capture this because I have a lot of these in my house. Pets, pet cats. So you can buy literally anything: pasta, kebabs, burgers, chips, roll-up sandwiches. They're everywhere. And where are you going? I want to follow this cat to see where he's going. The movie The Message, made in 1976, directed by Mustafa Akkad. In this movie, shows the struggles the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions, the struggles they went through in Mecca, and then moving to Madina, and the battles which was fought. The movie explains and shows where the battles were fought, and if anyone, because it explains the sites and the locations, and where I am now was actually the battlefield. The instructions given by the Prophet Muhammad, one of the instructions given, and in that movie, was that the archers were to remain on this hill, or on this cliff or mountain, until further instructions. The opposition were from Croatia, and they wanted to, sadly to say, they wanted to kill our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now, I was very looking forward to climbing up this mountain, because this is where the archers were, and the Prophet Muhammad strictly instructed the archers to remain on this cliff at all times. However, because of the because the Muslims, or our side, felt that we were winning, or we outnumbered them, the archers disobeyed Prophet Muhammad's orders and came down the cliff, basically abandoning the cliff, or tried to abandon the cliff. And the opposition took the advantage, and they were right behind the cliffs. And as the archers left, the Croatians attacked and killed several of our people, because they didn't follow the orders of our Prophet Muhammad. Had they followed his instructions and kept to our Prophet's words, those casualties would have been saved. But having said all that, I found it very profounding to be able to experience being on that top of the cliff and seeing what I can see, which is I can see the mosque and the height I'm at, and just imagine that the archers or our side were on that mountain waiting for the opposition, and they were waiting, and the feeling of a battle about to begin or already began, and it happened here. Just imagine you're stood on that cliff and you know fear was coming your way. Alright, you wasn't alone, you had your own army of men, but it's the feeling that you know there's gonna be more than how many you have. So our people were outnumbered. But having said that, the fear and the knowing that you could be killed, but the defense was to give their life to protect and save Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now, in that movie, the message goes through the events, and just to be here and walk on these cliffs is overwhelming. Just to think this is where it all happened a long, long, long time ago. Our next visiting site is the Masjid Kuba. Now, this is the first mosque that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, built, and he laid the first bricks, and his companions thereafter constructed the remaining. And he came here when he left Mecca, where he was a respected businessman and a peacemaker. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was in the habit of taking regular periods of retreat and reflection in the cave of Hira outside Mecca. This is where the first revelation of the Quran came to him in 610 CE, where he was 40 years old. This initiated his prophethood. The prophet was instructed to spread the teachings of the revelations he received to his larger family and beyond. However, although a few believed in him, the majority, especially the powerful, resented his calling them to abandon their gods. After all, many polytheist tribes came to Mecca on the pilgrimage, and the leaders feared that the new religion would threaten their own prestige and economic prosperity. They also felt it would disturb the social order, as it was quite outspoken in its preaching of equality between all people and its condemnation of the injustice done to the weaker members of the society. The hostility of the Meccans soon graduated from gentle ridicule to open conflict and the persecution of the Prophet's followers, many of whom the Prophet sent from the 5th year of his preaching to seek refuge with the Christian king of Abyssinia, Ethiopia. The remaining Muslims continued to be pressurized by the Meccans, who instituted a total boycott against the Prophet's clan, refusing to allow any social or economic dealings with them. In the middle of this hardship, the Prophet's wife, peace be upon him, his wife Khadija, and his uncle Abu Talib died, so depriving the Prophet of their great support. This year became known as the Year of Grief. However, events were soon to take a change for the better. The Prophet experienced the event known as the Night Journey, an ascension to heaven, during which the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was accompanied by Gabriel from the sanctuary of Mecca, first to Jerusalem and then to heaven. Soon afterwards, some people from Yathrib, a town some 400 kilometers north of Mecca, met the Prophet when they came to make the pilgrimage, and some of these accepted his faith, and the following year more returned from Yathrib, pledged to support him, and invited him and his community to seek sanctuary in Yathrib. The Muslims began to migrate there, soon followed by the Prophet Muhammad himself, narrowly escaping an attempt to assassinate him. This move to Yathrib, known as the migration, hijrah, was later adopted as the start of the Muslim calendar. Upon arrival in Yathrib, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, built the first mosque in Islam, and he spent most of his time there teaching and remolding the characters of the new Muslims from unruly tribesmen into a brotherhood of believers. Guided by the Quran, he acted as teacher, judge, arbitrator, advisor, consoler, and father figure to the new community. One of the reasons the people of Yathrib invited the Prophet Muhammad to migrate there was the hope that he would be a good arbitrator between their warring tribes, as indeed proves to be the case. Settled in Yathrib, the Prophet made a pact of mutual solidarity between the immigrants, Mujahirun, and the Muslims of Yathrib, known as Ansar helpers. This alliance, based not on tribal but on religious solidarity, was a departure from the previous social norms. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu also made a larger pact between all the tribes of Yathrib, and they would all support one another in defending the city against attack. Each tribe would be equal under this arrangement. Islam spread quickly in Yathrib, which became known as Madina al-Nabi, the city of the Prophet, or simply Madina city. This was the period in which the revelation began to contain legislation on all aspects of individuals and communal life, and for the first time the Muslims had their own state. In the second year at Madina, AH2, a Quranic revelation came allowing the Muslims to defend themselves militarily, and a number of battles against the Meccan disbelievers and their allies took place near Medina. Starting with the Battle of Badr, shortly after this revelation, Uhud the following year, and the Battle of the Trench in AH5. The Quran comments on these events. In AH6, the Meccans prevented the Muslims from undertaking a pilgrimage to Mecca. Negotiations followed, where the Muslims accepted that they would return to Medina for the first time but come back the following year to finish the pilgrimage. A truce was agreed for 10 years. However, in AH8, a Meccan ally broke the truce. The Muslims advanced to attack Mecca, but its leaders accepted Islam and surrendered without a fight. From this point onwards, delegations started coming from all areas of Arabia to meet the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In AH10, the Prophet made his last pilgrimage to Mecca and gave a farewell speech on the Mount of Mercy, declaring equality and solidarity between all Muslims. By this time, the whole Arabian Peninsula had accepted Islam, and all the warring tribes were united in one state under one head. Soon after the Prophet's return to Madina in the year 632 CE AH 10, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, received the last revelation of the Quran, and shortly, sadly, thereafter passed away. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his role as a leader of the Islamic State was taken over by Abu Bakr, 632 to 640 CE, followed by Umar, 634 to 644, and then Uthman, 644 to 656, who oversaw the phenomenal spread of Islam beyond Arabia. They were followed by Ali, 656 to 661. These four leaders are called the rightly guided caliphs. After Ali, the first political dynasty of Islam, the Umayyad, 631 to 770, came into power. There had, however, been some friction within the Muslim community on the question of succession to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, after his death. The Shias, or supporters of Ali, felt that Ali, and not Abu Bakr, was the appropriate person to take on the mantle of head of the community. They believed that the leadership should then follow the line of the descendants of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل، ونعوذ بك من النار وما شر كله عاجله وآجله ما علينا منه وما لم نعلم. اللهم أعنا ولا تعن علينا، وانصرنا ولا تنصر علينا، وامكر لنا ولا تمكر علينا، واهدنا ويسر الهدى لنا، وانصرنا على من بغى علينا. اللهم إنه قد من البلاء والضر ما أنت عليم به وقادر على كشفه. اللهم ارفع عنه.
The volume of prayers that attend this mosque, the Prophet's mosque, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Prayers from all over the world come in peace, all together, and to pray. I take responsibility for any mistakes made, any misquotes, any wording. I would be obliged for the viewers to correct any mistakes or quotes or lines or any information that is not true.
انا مش عم بسمع
Ghana.